Daily Broadside Day 527. You know how you're on this app and with TikTok, and you'll on occasion, the algorithm just does what it wants to do. If it senses that you're even remotely interested in something, it starts showing you every video that's ever been made of that something, right? But sometimes you just kind of zone out. You're watching something that makes you think of something else, and before you know it, you've watched the video like 3 times, and you don't even know what you're watching. You're thinking of something else, but you've watched this video about corn dogs or something, and you've watched this corn dog video for 3 times, 3 times in a row without even paying attention to what the hell it was, and that you just watched. And then the next thing you know, you're just inundated with like corn dog, videos, and then you're like, damn it, how do I get corn dogs out of my algorithm? Because I don't care anything about corn dogs. I mean, they're great. Don't get me wrong. A hot dog wrapped in cornmeal and deep fried is on a stick is it's just whoever invented that should have some kind of reward in life if they're still around, but or they should have been more brought into the light than they probably were in the living years, as Mike and the Mechanics would call it. But I've done this recently I am down this Burning Man rabbit hole, which apparently is some ridiculously overpriced thing out in the desert. And when I say the desert, it's more of like a salt flat, apparently. I've learned a lot more about the Burning Man than I ever thought I knew, or ever knew that I knew. And I had an idea of what it was. I thought it was like a concert. There's really nothing. It's like, best I can tell, this is Burning Man. You drive out into the middle of a salt flat, and you rent a bicycle. You don't have electricity necessarily. Everything's like solar and wind powered and all this crap. And people are making like art cars that are riding around, and you dress like a weirdo all day long, and it's like a big rave, and there's no showers to speak of. You get like a cup of water to dump over your head. It's hot as hell. So everybody's just sweating their, taints off and everything. And apparently sandstorms crop up. So you have to have goggles on you and a mask at all times, because the sandstorm or whatever can just blind you, and you can't see anything. So everybody's walking around with welding goggles on and stuff. And then apparently it's a really alkali, in the salt and whatnot. So you have to take a bath in vinegar to get it off of you. And every vehicle that you bring to the venue and park is just covered in this crap that comes up from the earth. And it's just one DJ rave after another. So it's like these what's the guy called it? Like Dead Mouse and Kraftwerk and all these weird bands. I have no idea what those are. I think they're DJs and electronica and all this crap. And it all culminates in people lighting a bunch of this 85-story Wicker Man on fire for some reason. And then there's a temple, and everything's all pro earth, and we're making a small footprint, but then they're making tons of trash and everything like this. It's just a very strange outing. And apparently it's $300 to $400, $500 a day to do this. So obviously you've got to have the means to be able to attend something like that. But let me tell you what I don't want to do in my life. And that's drive out into the middle of a salt flat and spend a week rustling between not bathing and smelling, and probably paying crazy amounts of money for food and bottled water, and then living in a tent that's covered in salt and dust and dirt and everything, because apparently everything you own just becomes salt, dust, and dirt. And it being just hot as hell out there. I don't see what in the hell would make me want to do that. And you know what is even better in the desert? When we light something on fire and make a huge fire. That's got to be great. I think that anything that adds to the heat of the desert. Deserts are pretty cool in the winter. Why don't we do this in November when it gets down to 40 degrees or something? I don't know how cold it gets in Black Rock City or whatever. And then apparently there's a lot of theft going on, and none of it appeals to me. I went to Carolina Rebellion in 2020. I think it was the COVID years. In the COVID years. I got a Mike and Mechanics theme going on today. And it was awesome in the sense that some of my best bands, Mastodon, Gojira, It was Soundgarden. Chris Cornell died like 2 weeks later, so it was one of his last shows. There's some great bands. Opeth, some good stuff, right? Great show in that sense. But there was nowhere to sit. You couldn't bring a chair. The food cost $80 million. I mean, I don't get that, like getting somewhere at noon and stay until 1 o'clock in the morning watching shows. As much as I love the shows, I can't do these festivals. I just want to sit down and just chill. I don't want to like walk around. And have you ever stood for 13 hours listening to bands in a crowded, that's not my thing. So I'd be damned if I'm going to do it in the desert for an entire week. It's just a strange thing to do, folks, but apparently it's pretty popular because there's like 80,000 people. You know what else I don't like doing? Is crowds. And I think 80,000 people constitutes as a crowd because there are, that's got to be bigger than like, I don't know, 45% of all cities in America, maybe even more. It's probably like 70% of all cities in America. That's an enormous city compared to most of what people live in, So yeah, y'all can have that. Y'all can have it all day long. I watched a gender reveal a couple days ago, and it occurred to me that somebody has to know about the gender reveal because this one was just this random, smattering of people in this family. There was like everybody's like, "Oh, I think it's a boy, and I think it's a girl, and I think it's a boy." And shut up, okay? We get it. But both the mom and the dad, right, they both didn't know what it was. So it begs the question: somebody's got to go buy like the little cannon that pops out the blue or pink, streamers, or the balloon that's filled with dust, or whatever the conduit by which you're gonna reveal the gender. I guess you just get like a great aunt or something, or your mama or something to go, hey, do you piss on a stick and then, you find, you find out you're pregnant, and then when you go to the doctor, you just tell the doctor, I don't want to know the gender like a lot of people do, but I need you to tell my aunt so that she can go buy, whatever the hell those things are called, a little party popper, that throws, crap all over your yard, so that somebody knows. Or is there like a committee? It seems a little weird. And don't get me wrong, I'm completely against gender reveal parties in the first place. So I'm not down with that. Those are just dumb. We don't need another reason to have another get together in your backyard, and especially for that reason. Okay, damn popping balloons and crap. Just tell us what the damn kid's gonna be, or don't tell us. We don't care. It's gonna be here either way. You're having the baby. We'll find out one way or the other. It's dumb. Steven Jackson, kind of a journeyman in the NBA. Now he's got like a podcast, or he's always on a podcast. I don't know if it's actually his, but I think he's on there with Kevin Garnett a lot. But anyway, 6'8", 220-ish, kind of a big guy. And that dude has got the biggest teeth on planet Earth. And I know he's had them fixed. Like they're fake or something, because I think I don't remember what happened to him, but he got some like dental trauma going on. I don't know if it was a car wreck or a fight or whatever the hell it was, but you can't watch that dude and just not be like, damn, those are the biggest teeth. They're like horses. Look at him and like, damn, some big teeth, big ass teeth. And people back in the day, I don't know if you can still do this in other states, but you haven't been able to smoke in North Carolina in a restaurant for God knows 25 years, maybe. I don't know. It was probably like the 90s, mid 90s, late 90s when that happened. But think about like the just the innate assholeness that you have to sit there and enjoy, a soup and salad or a steak or whatever you're eating, and then just light up a damn cigarette while people are eating 4 feet away. And even when you had, you had the smoking section and non-smoking section, it didn't matter. All that crap wafted in, that's just what happens with smokes, So unless you're going to build 2 different restaurants, that's just weird that was ever even a thing. I mean, people used to smoke on airplanes. Now, I don't ever remember that, but I do remember the Coliseum when I was a kid, in Greensboro Coliseum, and you would get done and walk out of there. Your clothes would smell. You'd have to wash your clothes 2 or 3 times before they would even remotely smell normal again. It's just crazy that we allow that kind of stuff, or that we allowed it, But the rudeness, that's what I'm talking about. Anyway, we don't have to deal with that anymore, so giddy up to us. Giddy.